A boy disappears. His room is empty. The door is locked from the inside. And on his bed, there is only one thing: a blue stone that glows in the dark. This is a mystery story created for English listening and shadowing practice. I will speak slowly and clearly. You can pause the video and repeat at your own pace. This is not just a story about a missing boy. It is a story about secrets, courage, and truth. If you enjoy learning English with mystery stories like this, subscribe to the channel. This helps me create more stories to help you improve your English naturally. Now, let's begin. Chapter 1: The Disappearance. It was a cold morning in October. The town of Blue Creek was quiet. Too quiet. Sarah Miller woke up early. She had to call her son, Danny, for school. She walked to his room and knocked on the door. "Danny, wake up. You're going to be late." No answer. She knocked again. Louder this time. "Danny!" Still nothing. Sarah felt something strange in her chest. A mother's instinct. Something was wrong. She opened the door. The room was empty. The bed was made. The window was closed. Everything looked normal. But Danny was not there. Sarah's heart started beating faster. She looked under the bed, in the closet, in the bathroom. Danny was nowhere. Then she saw it. On the pillow, there was a small stone, a blue stone. It was glowing softly, like a nightlight. Sarah had never seen it before. She picked it up. It was warm, almost alive. And at that moment, she heard a whisper. Not from the room, not from outside, from the stone. "Find him." Sarah dropped the stone and ran out of the room, screaming for her husband. Her husband, Michael, was in the kitchen. He was reading the newspaper and drinking coffee. When he heard Sarah scream, he dropped everything and ran upstairs. "Sarah, what's wrong?" She was standing in the hallway, pale and shaking. "Danny, he's gone." "What do you mean, gone?" "His room is empty. He's not there." Michael ran into Danny's room. He looked everywhere, under the bed, behind the curtains, in the closet. Nothing. "Maybe he left early for school," Michael said, trying to stay calm. "No, his backpack is still here. His shoes are here. His jacket is here." Michael felt fear growing in his chest. "Did you check the bathroom? The basement?" "I checked everywhere." Sarah started crying. Michael held her. "It's okay. We'll find him. I'll call the police." He took out his phone and dialed. While he was talking to the police, Sarah went back to Danny's room. She looked at the blue stone again. It was still glowing. She picked it up carefully this time. The whisper came back. But this time, it was clearer. "He is waiting, in the place where secrets sleep. Hurry." Sarah's hands trembled. "Where?" she whispered back. "Where is he?" But the stone didn't answer. Michael came into the room. "The police are coming. They'll be here in 20 minutes. Sarah showed him the stone. "Michael, look at this. I found it on Danny's pillow." What is it? I don't know, but it's alive. It talks. Michael looked at her with concern. Sarah, you're in shock. Stones don't talk. I know what I heard. Michael took the stone from her hand. He looked at it closely. It was beautiful, deep blue, with patterns that looked like stars. But it didn't whisper to him. I don't hear anything, he said. Maybe it only talks to me, Sarah said quietly. Michael didn't know what to say. He put the stone on the desk and held Sarah's hand. Let's wait for the police. They'll know what to do. But Sarah couldn't stop looking at the stone. She knew it was important. She knew it was the key to finding Danny. Chapter 2. The Investigation begins. The police arrived at noon. Officer Tom Graves was in charge. He was a serious man, tall and strong, with gray hair and tired eyes. He had seen many things in his life, but this case felt different. He came with his partner, a young woman named Lisa Park. Lisa was new to the force, only 2 years on the job. But she was smart, and she noticed things others didn't. Mr. and Mrs. Miller, Officer Graves said, sitting down in the living room. I need you to tell me everything about last night. Sarah took a deep breath. Danny came home from school at 3:30. He did his homework. He had dinner with us at 6. We watched TV together for an hour. Then he said he was tired and went to bed early, around 9 o'clock. Did he seem upset? Worried? Different in any way? No, he was normal. Happy, even. He was excited about the weekend. He wanted to go camping with his friend Lucas. Lucas. Officer Graves wrote the name down. What's Lucas's last name? Chen. Lucas Chen. They've been best friends since kindergarten. Did Danny mention anything about going anywhere? Meeting anyone? No, nothing. Officer Graves turned to Michael. Mr. Miller, did you check on Danny before you went to bed? Michael shook his head. No, he said he was tired. We didn't want to disturb him. What time did you go to bed? Around 11. And the house was locked. Yes, all the doors and windows. Officer Graves nodded. And this morning, when you found his room empty, was the door locked? Yes, Sarah said. Locked from the inside. Officer Graves exchanged a look with Lisa. They both knew what that meant. Either Danny left through the window, which was closed and locked, or something else was going on. Something impossible. Can I see his room? Officer Graves asked. Of course. They all went upstairs. Lisa walked around the room slowly, looking at everything. The bed was perfectly made. The desk was organized. Books, pens, a laptop, everything in its place. Too perfect. Does Danny usually make his bed like this? Lisa asked. Sarah hesitated. No, he's 13. He usually leaves it messy. Lisa nodded. That was strange. Then she saw the blue stone on the desk. What is this? Officer Graves came closer. I don't know. Mrs. Miller found it on Danny's pillow. Lisa picked it up. The moment her fingers touched it, she felt something. A warmth, a pulse, like a heartbeat. "This is not a normal stone," she said. Officer Graves took it from her. He felt it too. And then he heard it, the whisper. "Find him, before it's too late." Officer Graves's eyes widened. "Did you hear that?" he asked Lisa. "Hear what?" "The voice. From the stone." Lisa looked at him with concern. "Sir, I didn't hear anything." Officer Graves held the stone closer to his ear. The voice came again. "The forest, the bridge, hurry." He looked at Sarah. "Mrs. Miller, is there a forest near here? A bridge?" Sarah thought for a moment. "Yes, there's an old forest about 2 miles from here, and there's an old stone bridge. But it's been closed for years. It's not safe." "Did Danny ever go there?" I don't know. I told him to stay away from it." Officer Graves put the stone in his pocket. "We need to search that area." Before they could leave, the front door opened. Everyone turned. A boy walked in. He was thin, with dark hair and green eyes. He looked scared. "Mrs. Miller, is it true? Is Danny really gone?" It was Lucas. Sarah stood up. "Lucas, yes. Danny disappeared last night." Lucas's face went pale. No, this can't be happening." Officer Graves walked over to him. "Lucas, I'm Officer Graves. I need to ask you some questions." Lucas nodded, but he couldn't stop shaking. They all sat down in the living room. Officer Graves spoke gently. "Lucas, when was the last time you saw Danny?" "Yesterday. After school. We walked home together." "Did he say anything unusual? Did he seem worried?" Lucas looked down at his hands. He was quiet for a long time. "Lucas," Officer Graves said, "if you know something, you need to tell me. Danny's life might depend on it." Lucas took a deep breath. "He found something 2 weeks ago." "What did he find?" "A place in the forest, near the old bridge." Sarah gasped. "The bridge? I told him never to go there." "I know," Lucas said, "but he was curious. We were riding our bikes and he saw something. A path, hidden behind the trees. We followed it and we found a cave." Officer Graves leaned forward. "A cave? What was inside?" Lucas's voice became a whisper. "Stones, blue stones, just like the one you found. There were dozens of them, all glowing, all alive." Lisa took out her notebook. "What do you mean, alive?" "They hummed, like electricity, and when you touched them, you could feel something, like they were watching you." "Did Danny touch them?" Officer Graves asked. Lucas nodded. "He took one. I told him not to. I told him it was a bad idea, but he said it was just a rock. He said he wanted to study it." "Study it for what?" "Danny loves science, geology. He thought maybe it was a new mineral. something no one had discovered before. He wanted to be famous. Officer Graves pulled the blue stone from his pocket. Is this the one he took? Lucas looked at it, and his face went even paler. Yes, that's it. What happened after he took it? He changed. Changed how? Lucas struggled to find the words. At first, he was just excited. He kept the stone in his room. He looked at it for hours. He took pictures of it. He tried to research it online. But then, he started acting weird. Weird how? He stopped hanging out with me. He stopped going to soccer practice. He just stayed in his room, staring at the stone, and he started talking about dreams. What kind of dreams? He said the stone showed him things, visions of the past, of people who lived here a long time ago. He said they were called the Keepers, and they left the stones behind as a warning. A warning about what? Lucas looked directly at Officer Graves. He said something bad was coming, something that wanted the stones, and if it found them, everyone would be in danger. The room was silent. Officer Graves felt a chill down his spine. Did Danny say anything else about these keepers? He said they weren't human, or at least they weren't human anymore. They gave up their bodies to protect the stones, and now they live inside them, watching, waiting. Sarah started crying. What does this mean? Where is my son? Lucas stood up. I think the stones took him. What? The night before he disappeared, Danny called me. It was late, around midnight. He said the stone was calling him. He said he had to go back to the cave. I told him not to. I begged him to wait until morning. But he said he couldn't. He said the keepers needed him. Officer Graves stood up quickly. Lucas, can you take us to this cave? Lucas hesitated. I don't know if that's a good idea. Why not? Because the last time I was there, I felt something watching me. Something old. Something angry. And I swore I would never go back. Officer Graves put a hand on Lucas's shoulder. I understand you're scared, but Danny needs our help, and you're the only one who knows the way. Lucas looked at Sarah. She was crying, holding Michael's hand. He thought about Danny, his best friend, the person who always had his back. Okay, Lucas said finally. I'll take you there, but we need to be careful. Whatever is in that cave, it's not friendly. Officer Graves nodded. We'll be ready. He turned to Lisa. Get the equipment. Flashlights, ropes, first aid kit. We leave in 10 minutes. Lisa nodded and ran to the car. Officer Graves looked at Sarah and Michael. Stay here. Wait for our call. If Danny comes back, call me immediately. Please, Sarah whispered. Please bring him home. I will. I promise. What do you think they will find in the cave? Comment below. Chapter 3: The Cave. The forest was darker than Officer Graves expected, even though it was only 2 in the afternoon. The trees were so tall and thick that very little sunlight reached the ground. Lucas walked in front, followed by Officer Graves and Lisa. They had been walking for 30 minutes. The air was cold and damp. The only sounds were their footsteps and the occasional bird call. No one spoke. Everyone was thinking about Danny. "How much longer?" Lisa asked. Lucas stopped and looked around. "We're close. I remember this tree. The one that looks like it's bending." He pointed to a large oak tree that curved at a strange angle, as if it was trying to touch the ground. "The path is just past it." They walked around the tree and found a narrow trail, almost completely hidden by bushes and vines. "This is it," Lucas said. Officer Graves pulled out his flashlight. "Stay close. Watch your step." They followed the trail for another 10 minutes. It got darker and colder. Lisa pulled her jacket tighter. "This place gives me the creeps," she muttered. Then they saw it. The bridge. It was made of old stone, covered in moss and cracks. Half of it had collapsed into the river below. "Be careful," Lucas warned. "The stones are loose." They crossed the bridge slowly, testing each step. On the other side, Lucas pointed to a dark opening in the rocks. "There, that's the cave." Officer Graves shined his flashlight into the entrance. It was narrow, barely wide enough for one person. "I'll go first," he said. He crouched down and squeezed through the opening. Lisa and Lucas followed. Inside, the cave opened into a large chamber. Officer Graves stood up and looked around. The walls were covered with strange symbols, ancient writing, pictures of people and creatures. And in the center of the cave, there was a circle of blue stones. Dozens of them, all glowing softly in the darkness. "My God," Lisa whispered. Officer Graves walked closer. The stones hummed, a low, steady sound, like electricity. "Don't touch them," Lucas warned. "Danny said they can get into your head." Officer Graves stopped. "What do you mean?" "He said when you touch them, they show you things, memories, visions. But they're not your memories. They belong to the keepers." Lisa looked at the walls. Who were these keepers? Danny said they were an ancient people. They lived here thousands of years ago, before the town, before anything. They discovered a source of energy, deep underground, something powerful. But when other people tried to take it, the keepers did something drastic. They bonded themselves to the stones. They gave up their physical bodies to protect the energy forever. And now they're trapped, half alive, half stone, watching, waiting. Officer Graves felt a chill. And Danny touched one of these stones. Yes. So they might have taken him. Lucas nodded. I think so. I think they're trying to make him one of them. A new keeper. Lisa pulled out her radio. We need backup. This is beyond us. But when she pressed the button, all she heard was static. No signal, she said. Officer Graves looked around. There has to be another way out. Danny wouldn't have stayed here willingly. He walked to the back of the cave. There was another tunnel, smaller, darker. He went this way, Officer Graves said. How do you know? Lisa asked. He pointed to the ground. Footprints, small footprints, A boy's footprints. Let's go. They entered the tunnel. It was tight and claustrophobic. The walls seemed to press in from all sides. Lucas was breathing hard. I don't like this. I really don't like this. Stay calm, Officer Graves said. We're almost there. But he didn't know that. He was just hoping. They walked for what felt like hours, but was probably only 15 minutes. The tunnel twisted and turned. Sometimes it went down. Sometimes it went up. And all the while, the humming sound grew louder. Finally, the tunnel opened into another chamber. This one was much larger, and in the center, sitting on the ground, was Danny. He was holding a blue stone in both hands. His eyes were closed. Danny. Officer Graves ran forward, but Lucas grabbed his arm. Wait! Something's wrong! Officer Graves stopped. He looked at Danny more carefully. The boy wasn't moving. He was perfectly still, like a statue, and the stone in his hands was glowing brighter than all the others. Danny, Officer Graves called softly. Can you hear me? Danny's eyes opened, but they weren't his eyes anymore. They were blue, glowing blue, just like the stone. You shouldn't have come here, Danny said, but it wasn't Danny's voice. It was deeper, older, and it echoed, as if many voices were speaking at once. Danny, it's me, Officer Graves. We're here to take you home. Home, Danny repeated, as if he didn't understand the word. He stood up slowly. I don't have a home anymore. This is my home now, with the keepers, with the stones. Lisa stepped forward carefully. Danny, your mother is worried about you. She wants you to come back. Danny tilted his head. Mother. Yes. I remember her. Sarah. But that life is over now. I am part of something greater, something eternal. Officer Graves felt fear growing in his chest. Danny, listen to me. Whatever these stones are showing you, it's not real. You're still you. You're still a kid. You have a life, a family, friends. Danny looked at Lucas. Lucas, my friend, I'm sorry, but I can't go back. The keepers need me. Someone has to protect the stones. Protect them from what? Lucas asked, his voice shaking. Before Danny could answer, they heard a sound. Footsteps. Someone else was in the cave. Everyone turned. A man appeared from the shadows. He was tall, wearing a black coat. His face was hidden by the darkness. But Officer Graves recognized his voice immediately. Well, well, so you found the boy. It was Captain Richard Stone, the chief of police, Officer Graves' boss. Officer Graves felt his blood run cold. Captain, what are you doing here? Captain Stone stepped into the light. He was holding a gun, and he was smiling. I should ask you the same question, Tom, but I already know the answer. You're trying to be a hero, again. Sir, what's going on? Captain Stone laughed. What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. I've been searching for this place for 20 years. Ever since I heard the legends. The stories about the ancient energy source, the power that could change everything. And now, thanks to this stupid boy, I finally found it. He pointed the gun at Danny. "Give me the stone, kid." Danny didn't move. "You can't have it." "Oh, I think I can." Officer Graves stepped between them. "Richard, put the gun down. Whatever you think is here, it's not worth it." "Not worth it." Captain Stone's face twisted with anger. "Do you have any idea what this energy can do? It can power entire cities, forever. No more oil, no more coal, no more wars over resources. Whoever controls this controls the world." "And you want to sell it," Lisa said, her voice full of disgust. "I want to be free. Do you know how long I've worked for this town? 30 years. 30 years of taking orders, of cleaning up other people's messes, of watching corrupt politicians get rich while I barely make enough to pay my bills. Well, not anymore. This is my chance. My one chance to finally have power." He aimed the gun at Officer Graves. "Move, Tom. I don't want to shoot you, but I will if I have to." Officer Graves didn't move. "I can't let you do this, Richard." "Then you're a fool." Captain Stone's finger moved to the trigger. Lisa reached for her gun, but she was too slow. Captain Stone was faster. He pointed his gun at her. "Don't even think about it, rookie. Drop your weapon, now." Lisa hesitated. "Do it." She slowly took out her gun and placed it on the ground. "Kick it over here." She did. Captain Stone picked it up and put it in his pocket. Now he had 2 guns. "Good. Now everyone sit down, hands where I can see them." Officer Graves, Lisa, and Lucas sat down. Captain Stone walked toward Danny. "Now, kid, give me the stone, and I might let your friends live." Danny looked at him with those glowing blue eyes. "If you take the stone, it will destroy you. I'll take my chances. You don't understand. The energy is not a tool. It's alive. It has a will, and it doesn't want to be controlled. I don't care what it wants." Captain Stone reached for the stone, but the moment his hand got close, the stone flashed. Bright, blinding. Captain Stone screamed and fell back. His hand was burned, smoking. What did you do?" he yelled. Danny stood up. "I told you. You can't have it. The keepers won't allow it." Captain Stone looked at his burned hand. His face was filled with rage and pain. "You little—" He raised the gun again. This time, he was going to shoot. But before he could pull the trigger, Lucas jumped up and tackled him. The gun went off. The bullet hit the ceiling. Rocks started falling. "Get down!" Officer Graves shouted. Everyone dropped to the ground. Captain Stone pushed Lucas off and tried to aim the gun again, but Officer Graves was faster. He grabbed a rock and threw it at Captain Stone's hand. The gun flew across the cave. Captain Stone ran for it. So did Officer Graves. They both reached it at the same time. They struggled, punching, kicking, fighting for control. Lisa tried to help, but more rocks were falling. The cave was collapsing. "We need to get out of here," she screamed. But no one was listening. Officer Graves finally got the upper hand. He punched Captain Stone in the face. Hard. Captain Stone fell back, unconscious. Officer Graves grabbed the gun and pointed it at him. "It's over, Richard." But it wasn't over. The cave was still collapsing. Large rocks were falling from the ceiling. The ground was shaking. "Danny!" Lucas shouted. "We need to go. Now!" Danny was still standing in the center, holding the stone. He looked calm, too calm. "I can't leave," he said. "What? Why not?" "If I leave, the cave will collapse completely. The energy will be released. It will destroy everything. The forest, the town, everyone." "Then what do we do?" Danny looked at the stone in his hands. "The keepers are giving me a choice. I can stay here and become one of them, a guardian, forever, or I can return the stone and seal the cave. But if I seal it, I can never come back. And the knowledge, all the things I've seen, will be gone." Officer Graves walked over to him. "Danny, you're 13 years old. You have your whole life ahead of you. Your mother is waiting for you. Your father, Lucas, everyone who loves you. Don't throw that away. But if I leave, who will protect the stones? The stones have been here for thousands of years. They'll be fine. You won't." Danny looked at Lucas. "What do you think I should do?" Lucas was crying. "I think you should come home. I miss my best friend." Danny smiled, a real smile. His eyes started to fade. The blue light dimmed, and slowly they returned to normal. Brown eyes. Danny's eyes. "Okay," he whispered. "Let's go home." He placed the stone back in the center of the circle. The moment he did, the humming stopped. The stone stopped glowing, and the cave stopped shaking. Everything was still. "Run!" Officer Graves shouted. They grabbed Captain Stone and dragged him toward the tunnel. Danny led the way. Behind them, the cave started to collapse again. But this time, it was sealing itself. The tunnel was closing. They ran as fast as they could. Rocks fell all around them. Lisa tripped. Officer Graves helped her up. "Keep moving." They ran harder. Finally, they saw light, the entrance. They burst out of the cave just as the tunnel behind them collapsed completely. Rocks and dust filled the air. When it settled, the entrance was gone, sealed, forever. They all collapsed on the ground, breathing hard. Danny looked back at the rocks. "It's done," he said quietly. "The keepers are safe, and so is everyone else." Officer Graves put a hand on his shoulder. "You did the right thing." Danny nodded, but there were tears in his eyes. "I know, but I saw so much. I learned so much. And now it's all gone." "No," Officer Graves said. "The knowledge is gone, but the experience isn't. You faced something impossible, and you made a choice. A brave choice. That's something no one can take from you." Danny looked at Lucas. "I'm sorry I scared you." Lucas punched him lightly on the arm. "You're an idiot, but you're my idiot. Don't ever do that again." Danny laughed. "I won't. I promise." Lisa called for backup on her radio. This time, it worked. "This is Officer Park. We have the missing boy, Danny Miller. He's safe. We also have a suspect in custody, Captain Richard Stone. Send medical and police units to the Old Forest Bridge. Over. They waited. Captain Stone was still unconscious. Officer Graves tied his hands with rope to make sure he couldn't escape. 20 minutes later, they heard sirens. Help was coming. Do you think Danny made the right choice? Keep watching. Chapter 4. The Confrontation. The ambulance and police cars arrived quickly. Paramedics checked Danny. He had some bruises and cuts, but nothing serious. You're a lucky kid, one of the paramedics said. I know, Danny replied. Captain Stone was taken to the hospital, still unconscious, with 2 police officers guarding him. Officer Graves rode with Danny in the ambulance. Danny, I need to ask you something. What? What did you see when you were connected to the stones? Danny was quiet for a moment. Everything, he said finally. I saw the keepers when they were still human. I saw them build cities, create art, live, and love. And then I saw them discover the energy source, deep underground. It was beautiful, pure light, but it was also dangerous. When other tribes heard about it, they came to take it. Wars started. People died, so the keepers made a choice. They bonded themselves to the stones to protect the energy forever. They gave up their humanity to save everyone else. That must have been hard to watch. It was. But it also taught me something. What? That power always has a price, and sometimes the price is too high. Officer Graves nodded. You're wise beyond your years, Danny. I don't feel wise. I feel tired. Then rest. We'll be at the hospital soon. Your mother is waiting. Danny closed his eyes. But he couldn't stop thinking about the keepers, about their sacrifice, about the choice he had to make. When they arrived at the hospital, Sarah was already there. The moment she saw Danny, she ran to him and hugged him so tightly he could barely breathe. My baby, I thought I lost you. I'm okay, Mom. I'm okay. She pulled back and looked at him. Don't ever do that again. Do you hear me? Never. I won't. I promise. Michael was there too. He hugged Danny hard. You scared us, son. I'm sorry, Dad. It's okay. You're safe now. That's all that matters. The doctors took Danny to a room to run some tests. Sarah and Michael went with him. Officer Graves stayed outside with Lisa and Lucas. What happens now? Lucas asked. Now we wait, Officer Graves said. The doctors need to make sure Danny is okay, and we need to figure out what to do about Captain Stone. He tried to kill us, Lisa said. He should go to prison. He will. But first, we need to understand why. What made him do this? Greed, Lisa said simply. He wanted power. Maybe, but there might be more to it. People don't just wake up one day and decide to betray everything they believe in. Something must have pushed him. They sat in the waiting room. drinking bad coffee and trying to process everything that had happened. An hour later, the doctor came out. "Danny is fine," he said. "No serious injuries, just exhaustion and minor dehydration. We're going to keep him overnight for observation, but he should be able to go home tomorrow." Sarah started crying again, this time from relief. "Thank you. Thank you so much." The doctor smiled. "He's a strong kid. You should be proud." "I am. I really am." That night, Officer Graves went to the hospital where Captain Stone was being held. He was awake now, handcuffed to the bed. 2 officers stood guard outside his room. "I need to talk to him," Officer Graves said. The officers nodded and let him in. Captain Stone looked at him with tired, defeated eyes. "Tom, I was wondering when you'd show up." Officer Graves pulled up a chair and sat down. "Why, Richard? Why did you do it?" Captain Stone laughed bitterly. "You wouldn't understand. Try me." Captain Stone looked at the ceiling. "Do you know how it feels to give your whole life to something and get nothing in return? You got respect, a career, a pension." "Respect?" Captain Stone's voice rose. "I got orders. I got paperwork. I got politicians telling me how to do my job. But respect? No. And money? I can barely afford my rent." "So you were going to sell the energy source?" "I was going to be free, Tom. For the first time in my life, I was going to have control, power, the ability to choose my own path, even if it meant killing people." Captain Stone looked away. "I wasn't going to kill anyone. I just needed the stone." "You pointed a gun at a 13-year-old boy. You threatened to shoot me and my partner. What did you think was going to happen?" Captain Stone was quiet. "Richard, you were a good cop once. What happened to you?" "Life happened, Tom. 20 years of watching criminals get away with everything. 20 years of seeing corrupt people get rich while honest people suffer. I got tired of being one of the honest ones. So you decided to become one of the corrupt ones." Captain Stone didn't answer. Officer Graves stood up. "You're going to prison, Richard. For a long time. I hope it was worth it." He walked to the door. "Tom," Captain Stone called. Officer Graves stopped. "I'm sorry. For everything." Officer Graves looked back at him. "So am I." He left. Chapter 5. The Truth Comes Out. The next morning, Danny was released from the hospital. Sarah and Michael took him home. Lucas was waiting on the front porch. When Danny got out of the car, Lucas ran to him and hugged him. "Dude, you're okay." "Yeah, I'm okay. I was so worried." "I know. Thanks for coming to find me. That's what friends do." They went inside. Sarah made Danny's favorite breakfast, pancakes with chocolate chips and orange juice. Danny ate like he hadn't eaten in days, which, technically, he hadn't. "Slow down," Michael said with a smile. "The food isn't going anywhere." "I know. I'm just so hungry." After breakfast, Officer Graves and Lisa came to visit. "Danny," Officer Graves said, We need to talk about what happened in the cave. I know. They all sat in the living room. The government is going to want to know about the stones, Officer Graves said. They're going to ask questions, a lot of questions. And I need to know what you want me to tell them. Danny thought carefully. Tell them the truth. But also tell them that the cave is sealed. The stones are gone. There's nothing left to find. Are you sure? Yes. The keepers sacrificed everything to protect that energy. I'm not going to let anyone disturb them. Not the government, not scientists, not anyone. Officer Graves nodded. I understand. But you know they might not believe us. They might try to dig up the forest, search for the cave. Let them try. They won't find anything. The keepers made sure of that. Lisa spoke up. Danny, can I ask you something? Sure. When you were connected to the stones, could you really see the future? Danny hesitated. Sometimes. Not clearly. It was like looking through fog. I could see shapes, possibilities, but nothing was certain. Did you see anything about us? About the town? Danny looked at her. Yes. What did you see? I saw that Blue Creek will be safe. The energy source will stay hidden. And life will go back to normal. That's good. But I also saw something else. Everyone leaned forward. What? I saw that there are other places like this. Other caves. Other stones. The keepers weren't the only ones who tried to protect something precious. There are others, all over the world, waiting, watching. Officer Graves felt a chill. Do you think someone will try to find them? Maybe. Probably. Power is tempting, and people are curious. But I hope they'll be smarter than Captain Stone. I hope they'll understand that some things should stay hidden. 3 days later, government agents arrived in Blue Creek. They wore black suits and dark sunglasses. They interviewed everyone who was involved. Officer Graves, Lisa, Danny, Lucas, Sarah, and Michael. They asked about the cave, the stones, the energy source. Officer Graves told them everything. Well, almost everything. He left out the part about the keepers being alive. And he left out the part about the stones showing visions. He made it sound like a geological phenomenon, rare minerals. Nothing more. The agents weren't entirely convinced, but they had no proof otherwise. They sent a team to search the forest. They dug. They scanned with equipment. They brought in geologists and engineers, but they found nothing. The cave was gone, sealed by rocks and earth, as if it had never existed. After 2 weeks, they gave up and left. Chapter 6. Moving forward. Life in Blue Creek slowly returned to normal. Captain Richard Stone was put on trial. He was found guilty of attempted murder, kidnapping, and abuse of power. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison. During the trial, he showed no emotion. He just sat there, staring at nothing. Officer Graves testified against him. It was hard. Richard had been his friend, his mentor, someone he respected, but he had also betrayed everything they stood for. After the trial ended, Officer Graves went to visit Danny. "How are you holding up?" he asked. Danny was in his room, doing homework. "I'm okay. School is weird, though. Everyone keeps staring at me. Some kids think I'm a hero. Others think I'm crazy." "What do you think?" Danny smiled. "I think I'm just a kid who made a mistake and got lucky." "That's a pretty good answer." Danny put down his pencil. "Officer Graves, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Do you think Captain Stone was evil?" Officer Graves thought about it. "No, I don't think he was evil. I think he was lost. He wanted something so badly that he forgot who he was, and that's dangerous." "Do you think that could happen to anyone?" "Yes, if we're not careful. That's why it's important to remember what matters. Family, friends, truth. Those things keep us grounded." Danny nodded. "I'll remember that." A few weeks later, Lucas came over to Danny's house. They were in Danny's room, playing video games. "So," Lucas said casually, "do you ever think about the stones?" Danny paused the game. "Sometimes, late at night. I wonder what the keepers are doing, if they know what happened, if they're grateful. Do you miss it, the connection?" Danny thought about it. "Part of me does. It was amazing, Lucas. I could see things, understand things, feel things I'd never felt before. But it was also scary. I was losing myself, becoming something else. And I realized I like being me, even if I'm just a regular kid, even if I'll never know everything. I like my life." Lucas smiled. "I like your life too. You're my best friend. I don't want you to become a magical stone guardian." Danny laughed. "Don't worry, that job is taken." They went back to their game, but every now and then, Danny would glance out the window toward the forest and wonder. Chapter 7. The Secret Remains. Months passed. Winter came. Snow covered the forest and the old stone bridge. Blue Creek looked like a postcard. Peaceful, quiet, normal. Danny went back to being a regular 8th grader. He did his homework, played soccer, hung out with Lucas. His parents watched him carefully at first, making sure he was really okay. But as time went on, they relaxed. Danny was healing. The nightmares stopped. The visions faded. He was becoming himself again. One Saturday morning, Danny woke up early. He looked out his window and saw fresh snow. Everything was white and clean. He got dressed and went downstairs. His parents were still asleep. He grabbed his jacket and his boots and went outside. The air was cold and crisp. His breath made little clouds. He walked, not toward town, toward the forest. He didn't know why. He just felt pulled. When he reached the old bridge, he stopped. The entrance to the cave was completely covered now. You couldn't even tell it had been there. Nature had reclaimed it. Danny stood there for a long time, just looking. Then he heard it. A whisper. So faint he almost thought he imagined it. "Thank you." Danny smiled. "You're welcome." He turned around and walked home. That night, Danny sat at his desk and wrote in his journal. He had started keeping a journal after everything that happened. His therapist said it would help him process, and it did. He wrote, "Today I went back to the forest, to the place where it all happened. The cave is gone now, sealed, hidden, safe. I heard the keepers one last time. They thanked me, and I realized something. I made the right choice. I could have stayed with them, learned their secrets, lived forever. But I would have lost everything that makes me human. My family, my friends, my future. Power is tempting. Knowledge is tempting. But nothing is more important than the people you love. Nothing is more important than being yourself." I'm Danny Miller. I'm 13 years old. I like science and soccer and bad jokes. I have a best friend named Lucas who would do anything for me. And I have parents who love me more than anything. That's enough. That's more than enough. The keepers protected their secret for thousands of years. They gave up everything. I'm grateful to them. But I'm more grateful that I got to come home. Some secrets are worth keeping, and some lives are worth living. I choose life. I choose love. I choose home. He closed the journal and got ready for bed. As he was falling asleep, he thought he saw a soft blue light outside his window. But when he looked, there was nothing there, just the moon, and the stars, and the quiet night. He smiled and closed his eyes. Chapter 8. 1 year later. A year passed. Danny was 14 now, taller, more confident. He had become one of the top students in his school, especially in science. He wanted to be a geologist someday, to study the earth, to understand its secrets. But this time, from a safe distance, Lucas was still his best friend. They did everything together. Sarah and Michael were proud of their son. He had been through something traumatic, but he came out stronger, more mature, more understanding. Officer Graves had been promoted. After Captain Stone was removed, someone needed to be the new chief of police. The town council chose him. He accepted, but only on one condition, that Lisa Park would be his second in command. She agreed. Together, they made Blue Creek a safer place, and they never spoke about the cave again. Not publicly, but sometimes, late at night, when they were alone, they would remember, and they would wonder. One evening, Danny was walking home from soccer practice. It was getting dark. The streetlights were coming on. As he walked past the library, he saw something strange. A man was standing on the corner, staring at him. The man was tall, wearing a long coat. His face was hidden by shadows. Danny felt a chill. He started walking faster, but the man followed him. "Danny Miller," the man called. Danny stopped. "Who are you?" The man stepped into the light. He was middle-aged, with gray hair and sharp eyes. "My name is Dr. Vincent Cross. I'm a researcher. I study ancient civilizations." What do you want? I want to talk to you about what happened last year, in the forest, in the cave. Danny's heart started racing. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. You found something. Something important. And I need to know what it was. The cave collapsed. There's nothing there. I don't believe you. Dr. Cross took a step closer. Danny, I've spent my entire life searching for places like that. Ancient sites, sources of power. And I know you found one. I can help you understand it. I can help you unlock its secrets. I don't want to unlock anything. I just want to live my life. But think of what you could learn. Think of what you could become. I already know what I want to become. A normal person. With a normal life. Danny turned to walk away. Danny, wait. Leave me alone. Danny ran home. When he got there, he locked the door and looked out the window. Dr. Cross was standing across the street, watching the house. Danny called Officer Graves. Officer Graves, there's a man outside my house. He's asking about the cave. I'll be right there. 10 minutes later, Officer Graves arrived with Lisa. They talked to Dr. Cross. He claimed he was just a researcher, that he meant no harm, but Officer Graves didn't believe him. Stay away from Danny Miller. Stay away from this town. If I see you here again, I'll arrest you for harassment. Dr. Cross smiled coldly. You can't stop people from searching for the truth, officer. The stones exist. The energy exists. And one day, someone will find it. Not today. Dr. Cross walked away. But before he left, he looked back at Danny. This isn't over, boy. The world needs to know what's out there, and I'll make sure they do. Then he disappeared into the night. Danny couldn't sleep that night. He kept thinking about Dr. Cross, about his words. This isn't over. What did that mean? Were there others like him? People searching for the stones? People willing to do anything to find them? Danny went to his window and looked toward the forest. It was dark and quiet, but somewhere, deep underground, the keepers were still there, still watching, still protecting. And Danny knew, as long as there were people like Dr. Cross, the keepers would never be safe, neither would the world. The next morning, Danny made a decision. He went to Officer Graves's office. Danny, what are you doing here? I need to talk to you about last night, about Dr. Cross. What about him? He's not going to stop. People like him, they never stop. They'll keep searching, keep digging, and eventually, they might find something. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we find them first. Officer Graves looked at him carefully. Danny, you're 14 years old. I know, but I'm also the only person who's been connected to the stones. I'm the only one who understands what they are, what they can do. And I think the keepers knew that. I think that's why they let me go. Because they knew I would protect their secret. You want to hunt down people like Dr. Cross. No. I want to warn them. Show them what happens when you try to take power that isn't yours. Tell them the truth about the stones. Officer Graves thought about it. That's a big responsibility. I know, but someone has to do it. And I think it has to be me. Officer Graves smiled. You're brave, Danny. Just like your mother said. Does that mean you'll help me? It means I'll think about it. You're still a kid. You should be focused on school, on growing up, on living your life. I am living my life. But part of my life now is protecting the secret. I made a promise to the keepers, and I'm going to keep it. The guardian years passed. Danny grew up. He finished high school, went to college, studied geology and ancient history. He became an expert on rare minerals and ancient civilizations. But his real mission was something else. He traveled the world, searching for places like the cave in Blue Creek, other sites, other stones, other sources of power, and whenever he found one, he protected it. He warned people, told them the truth. Some listened, others didn't, but Danny never gave up. Lucas stayed his best friend. He became a lawyer and helped Danny navigate the legal side of protecting ancient sites. Together, they formed a small organization. They called it the Keepers Project. Its mission: to find and protect ancient sources of power before they fell into the wrong hands. Officer Graves and Lisa helped whenever they could, and Sarah and Michael were proud of their son. He had turned a traumatic experience into a life mission. On Danny's 25th birthday, he went back to Blue Creek. He visited the forest. The old bridge was completely gone now, destroyed by time and weather. But Danny knew the cave was still there, deep underground, hidden, safe. He stood in the snow and closed his eyes. I'm still here, he whispered. I'm still protecting you, and I always will. The wind blew softly, and for just a moment, Danny felt a warmth in his chest, a connection. The keepers were listening, and they were grateful. Danny opened his eyes and smiled. He turned around and walked back toward town. His phone buzzed. A text from Lucas. New site found in Peru. Possible stone signatures. Need your expertise. Danny typed back. On my way. He got in his car and drove away from Blue Creek, toward his next mission, his next adventure, his next chance to protect the world from powers it didn't understand. Because Danny Miller wasn't just a boy anymore. He was a guardian, a keeper of secrets, a protector of ancient power. And he would never stop. Not until every stone was safe. Not until every secret was protected. Not until the world understood. Some things are too powerful to control. Some secrets are too important to reveal. And some people are brave enough to protect both. Thank you for listening to this story. The moral is simple. The greatest power we have is not the power to control others, but the power to protect what matters. True strength comes from choosing love over greed, truth over secrets, and sacrifice over selfishness. Danny could have kept the stone's power for himself. He could have become famous, rich, powerful. But he chose something better. He chose to protect others, to keep dangerous power away from those who would misuse it, to live a life of purpose, not just pleasure. In our own lives, we all face choices like Danny's. Do we take the easy path or the right path? Do we choose what benefits us or what benefits everyone? Do we protect what's important or exploit it? These are the questions that define who we are. And the answers we choose shape the world we live in. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel. Share it with someone who is learning English, and leave a comment. What would you do if you found something powerful? Would you keep it for yourself, or would you protect it from those who might misuse it? Thank you for watching. And remember, real heroes don't seek power. They protect the world from it. See you in the next story.